Well, obviously, we're always sad to lose a colleague, although I haven't seen Dan around that much recently. But I think the Conservative record on the NHS is very good. Well, I mean, it means what I said. We've got a fantastic record on the NHS. We've got record levels of spending, £165 billion a year, even adjusting for inflation, more than we've ever spent before in history. We've got record numbers of doctors, record numbers of nurses. Just in the last year alone, the NHS has grown by 68,000 staff, and there are today 7,000 more doctors and 21,000 more nurses than there were a year ago. And the numbers are also much higher than they were in 2010. So huge investment going into the NHS, and it's showing results. The waiting lists that obviously grew up during COVID and were exacerbated by the doctors' strike are now falling on a sustained basis. They've fallen by 200,000 across the last 5 months.
OK, so what's motivated this then? Because you're painting a completely different picture of the NHS to a doctor actually working in it, who now says he can't look his patients in the face by remaining as a Conservative.
Well, I mean, obviously he's been working in the NHS in a specific place, and I'm giving you the figures for the NHS as a whole. In terms of his motivation, you'd have to ask him about that. But he says he's joining Labour because he thinks Labour will do a better job. But if you look at what Labour are doing in Wales, where Labour does run the NHS, they are doing an appalling job. Tens of thousands of people each year are fleeing the Welsh-run the Labour-run NHS in Wales to have treatment in England. The waiting lists, the proportion of the public who are on either very long waiting lists or indeed the proportion of the public in Wales on a waiting list at all is higher, materially higher than it is in England.